Hello everyone, Pokemon Day 2025 is fast approaching, which means it's time for every content creator's favorite activity. That is right, I am of course referring to immediately irrelevant content. This is designed to be consumed for about a week or two and then completely forgotten about when it turns out I'm dead wrong. Oh baby, this is what you want. This is the kind of content that people go crazy for. Am I right? Nobody's gonna watch this video after February 27th, 2025. I can't wait to talk about my predictions, okay? Let's get started. All right, now listen. I know how these go. I'm sure you've seen a million of these. I'm sure you've seen 1.5 million of these dumb videos. You gotta start off with the Masters, the Pokemon Cafe remix. You gotta do the Pokemon Unite. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about any of that. We're going right to the juice. We're going to the stuff that people care about. All right, we're going straight to it. Legends ZA. Let's talk about Legends ZA. Let's talk about Legends ZA, the thing that people came for. You don't have to go into the timestamps. You don't have to. Your mic is auto quieting when you get too loud. That's to protect you. That is to protect you. Okay. You don't have to go into the timestamps and see where I start talking about Legends ZA. I'm going to start talking about Legends ZA right now, okay? All right, let's talk. Let's talk. Chat, I don't remember what I put under this square. I remember. I will reveal it post-haste. Okay, let's talk. Okay. Let me tell you about Pokemon Legends ZA. All right, there's a lot of things to talk about, right? There's a lot of things to talk about. Let me take you through my vision for the game, okay? I want to describe to you how the game opens because I believe that this is how the game may be shown off for the first time, okay? Imagine this. The game begins in media res. It's the end of the game. You have progressed to the top of the Prism Tower, where you must fight against big, bad Zygarde, who's going crazy, dude. Who's controlling that Zygarde? Who's controlling him? You don't know. But here's what you got. You look into your bag. You've got a few Pokemon to choose from. You take out. They're fully evolved, okay? Of the 3 starter Pokemon, fully evolved versions of them. You pick one. This is you picking your starter Pokemon, by the way. You pick the fully evolved version. You throw them out into battle. It mega evolves. You lose. This is an unwinnable battle. You lose to this Pokemon, and the villain of this game hits a big button. The ultimate weapon fires into the sky. And something's going wrong in the world. It's like the world is splitting apart. It's all going crazy. There's all these effects. Oh my God, what is going on? And then you are pulled into the void. You're pulled into the void. A voice speaks to you. It is Arceus himself. Arceus tells you. Arceus says, "You messed up. You messed up. This is not the way that things were supposed to go. You have a mission. You need to find this Pokemon. It will change everything. You need to find them. There's a special Pokemon out there. You need to find them. I'm going to send you back. I'm going to send you back in time so that you can prevent these events from ever occurring." Arceus splits the timeline. You start at Z. You start at Z fighting Zygarde, and then you get to Arceus, and he sends you back. Now you're in a new timeline. You have a new chance to make sure that that ending that you saw doesn't happen. That's the game. That's Pokemon Legends ZA. The Pokemon who you picked, who you had Mega Evolve in that opening battle, you come into the world with that Pokemon already being your partner. That's how you enter into the world. All right. Now I want to talk about. I want to address this. I want to address this mystery square. Okay, what is behind here? I want to talk about Mega Evolution itself. I want to talk about how it works. Okay, because I believe I believe that we are going to retcon Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution will no longer require a Mega Stone. This whole thing, we're trashing it. We're saying goodbye. All right? Legends ZA, much like Legends Arceus, will not involve held items. There are no held items in this game. So how do you Mega Evolve? How do you do it? How do you do it, chat? How do you do it? Tell me. How do you do it, chat? How do you Mega Evolve? How do you Mega Evolve if you don't have Mega Stones and you don't have Mega Bands? How do you do it? Power of Friendship? The bonds? Raise affinity with your Pokemon? Bonds? Power of Friendship? You're all wrong. You're all wrong. Because let me tell you, you will find Mega Pokemon out in the wild that you have to defeat. How did they Mega Evolve? They don't have the bonds. Well, guess what, chat? One thing that Legends Arceus did like were items. They loved items. They didn't like held items, but they sure did like items. Using items, crafting items, the whole dang thing. The way that you Mega Evolve in Legends ZA is by feeding your Pokemon an empowerment seed. An empowerment seed. That is right, chat. That is right. This way, you will be able to apply the awakened status, the Mega status, to any Pokemon, regardless of if they actually have a Mega Evolution. But some Pokemon will, of course, be capable of Mega Evolving, okay? Okay, so this is, of course, an image from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, okay? But this is not, I believe it used the exact same system in Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. So this got the green light twice. And I think the seeds coming from some special magical tree, maybe it has some connection to Xerneas, the tree Pokemon. These seeds are out there, wild Pokemon are out there munching these seeds. They're Mega Evolving, baby. Well, what if they tie it to the plot? Like rampaging Pokemon that the trainer fights. What? So you need to calm the rampaging Mega? Sure, that doesn't conflict with anything I said. So eventually though, people are going to be like, but Jake, seeds, every time you want to Mega Evolve, you've got to give them an item that's, you dispose of that item and then it's gone? Seeds? Really? Yes. Seeds. Until you craft Mega Bands and Mega Stones. Eventually, you create the Mega Bands and the Mega Stones. Where did they come from? Why are they made from for specific Pokemon? You are going to be the origin of the Mega Bands and the Mega Stones. You are going to put them together yourself, okay? Those Mega Bands, those Mega Stones, they are not from nature. They all come from the Empowerment Seed. You're going to figure that out. All right. All right, that was my first Legends ZA slide. That is Pokemon Legends ZA. That's all I really want to talk about with the general game. Now I wanted to get into some specific stuff. The Legends ZA starters. Chat, please speak up. Please tell me in the chat now, which type would you like to see revealed first? The grass type? The grass type? The fire type? Or the water type? Grass? Okay. Okay, I'm seeing the early grasses have it. Here we go. Wait, who is it? Chat, who is it? What is this? What is going on? Oh, it's Grookey! It's Grookey wearing a bucket hat! Oh, it's Grookey in a bucket hat, of course! Grookey in a bucket hat! Of course it's Grookey in a bucket hat. Oh my god. Chat, come on. Chat, that was good. Come on. Don't, you can't be mad. You can't be mad about Grookey in the bucket hat, alright? Yeah, Grookey. Grookey is gonna be the grass starter. It's Jigglypuff seen from above. Stop it. I am mad. Where's your bucket? Stop it, chat. Alright, let's just go down the line here. Let's go. No, let's do fire next. Alright. Fire next. Here we go. It's Litten wearing glasses. Chad, it's Litten wearing glasses. All right, Litten. We've got Litten. Okay, we've got Grookey, and we've got Litten. Grookey's in the bucket hat. Litten's wearing glasses. All right. Last one. Last reveal. Chad, do you think you know who it is? Put your guesses in right now. Please guess. Please put your guesses in right now. It's coming. It's coming fast. Okay. Here we go. It's coming fast. Squirtle in a fedora. Squirtle in a fedora. Okay, but he already has a Mega Evolution? What does that have to do with him being a starter? What are you guys talking about? I don't understand. Why is everybody... What's this complaining about? Oh my god. So Chad, here's the deal. I knew you would see this. And you would say, it can't be Mudkip, Trico, Torchic, Squirtle, Charmander, or Bulbasaur, because they already have Megas. Easy. Easy. Charizard has 2 Megas already. Do I need to say more? Bulbasaur has a Mega? Yes. Charizard has 2. What is stopping Squirtle from getting a different Mega in this game? What is stopping Squirtle from getting a different Mega? Mewtwo has 2 Megas. Charizard has 2 Megas. There's probably other Pokemon that have more than 1 Megas. Everybody, see, there it is, the backsliding. It's happening already. People were furiously typing, and then they went, oh, Jake, okay, Jake has a point here. Jake has a point. I think Squirtle is one that nobody sees coming. I think Squirtle is one that nobody sees coming. I think it's going to shock the world. I think Litten is the easy pick. I think that Totodile is an easy pick. I would even say Sobble is a pretty easy pick. And Snivy, dude. Everybody on the internet, Snivy, French, Snivy. No. I actually have I have a reason for this. And it's mostly that I think that there's not going to be a Gen 2 or a Gen 5 starter specifically. I love when you present the voice of dissent as a nerdy little freak, as it should be. All right. So let me get into this. These are the starters. And I didn't see anybody ask this, but I was hoping you would ask, why are each of them wearing clothes? Let me tell you. I think that you can get all of the starters right now. Okay, Bungle asked. Okay. You can get all of the starters right now, this moment, in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Okay? You can do that. I think that starters are not exciting. They're not exciting right now. No matter who they pick, no matter what the combo is, I think that in the eyes of the Pokemon Company, in the eyes of Game Freak, I think that they need to do something with a little more that makes them go, oh, I mean, I can go get one of any of these guys out in Scarlet and Violet right now, but I can't do that. That's special. That's different. And I believe your starter will wear clothes. I believe you will dress your starter. In, X and Y, everybody loved the character customization. Everybody is convinced that character customization is going to return in a big way in Legends ZA. It was part of X and Y's identity. I think that's where I was going next. I think, Lamp, that Let's Go, not only were you dressing up your partner Pokemon, or your character, you were dressing up your partner Pokemon. I think that this game is going to build on that. I think that you're going to see dressing up your Pokemon in a big way in these games. And I think it'll probably be tied to your starters, no matter what evolution stage they're in. Okay? And listen, if the Mega Stones are in this game, I think it would be pretty cool if you could choose, like, how the Mega Stone is, like, actually attached to your Pokemon. You know what I mean? Maybe you give them, like, I don't know. I'm sure in the anime they have, like, a million different things that they could do, but I think that'd be neat. I think that'd be really neat. Yeah. So I think that when you first see the starter and you're rolling up into Legends ZA, they're not coming out of a Pokeball. They're going to be walking up with you wearing clothes, styling, wearing a hat. Someone will be wearing a beret. Probably between these three. Oh, also, part of the reason I chose Squirtle was because I was thinking in my head, like, you're going to get the Squirtle Squad glasses. And you can put Squirtle on. You can put them on Squirtle. Chat, that's a good time. You can't tell me that's not a good time. Okay. All right, chat. Okay. Legends ZA starters out of the way. These are the starters. Listen, I could have rolled up and I could have said Snivy, Totodile, Score Bunny. I could have done it, but I'm not boring. Resist. All right. New Megas. Grookey with the baguette is a great idea. So here's the deal. I have no desire to, like, go through the Pokedex and say these are the starters, or these are all the new Megas. These are, you know what I mean? Dragonite. Like, do you really need to hear me say Dragonite is going to get a Mega? Do you really need to hear me say that Flygon is going to get a Mega? No, you get enough of this. You got enough of this in those other videos. Don't worry. This is we're doing something different here. There are some Pokemon. And I think that there is some gross negligence happening online. These Pokemon are locks. Guaranteed. Money in the bank getting new Megas. And I never see anyone talk about them. Ever. And I find it shocking. Alright. Are we ready for the reveal? Bet your house on this. Bet your house. Everyone has these Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet. Everyone has gone on an adventure with them. Everyone's leveled them up. Everyone has these Pokemon. Did you know? Did you know in the Pokemon Horizons anime that there is a prominent Fuecoco, Sprigatito, and Quaxley, and that all three of them have already evolved to their second stage. All three of them are already at their they've evolved once. All three of them. Did you know that? Huh. You know, that's interesting because I think the anime typically likes to do a thing where like, oh, this one won't evolve at all. This one will. This one, you know, the timing's a little all over the place. But it's almost as if they're in a bit of a rush. A bit of a rush to evolve, which is interesting to me. It's interesting to me, chat, because the gimmick currently running in the anime and in Scarlet and Violet is, of course, terastallization, and terastallization does not require you to evolve. You can do the gimmick without evolving, and yet Sprigatito has evolved. Fuecoco has evolved. Quaxley has evolved. Something interesting is going on here. You know, chat, I was reading some post end of Ash Saga interviews about Pokemon, the Pokemon anime and how that's produced. And I remember a lot of people being like, man, I wish they brought back more Pokemon in the end and stuff like that. And I swear to God, I read some interviews where some of the creators were kind of explaining that, like, bringing on a different Pokemon actually, like, adds to the budget. Like, that is a consideration. Like, how many specific Pokemon are in a thing. Whereas using the same Pokemon is, like, advantageous to the animation pipeline for whatever. I'm not an expert. And I just think it's interesting. That even with that in mind, they said, no, it is important to us. It is important to us that each of these main characters has one of these starter Pokemon from this region, and they all have evolved. I find that to be incredibly suspect. So, yeah, so these guys are getting Megas. And it's going to be really fun. They're going to talk about how, thanks to the power of Pokemon Home, you can transfer your Skeledirge into Legend ZA, transfer them back to Scarlet and Violet, back and forth, no problem. That's what they're going to talk about. It's going to be great. All right, chat. I think that's all I got on ZA. Let's move on. My next prediction. Anime movie. Anime is in big demand. You can look up the articles. Around there was a bit of a COVID boom for anime, but now it's back in a big way. The demand from studios, from streaming services for anime could not be higher. Over the course of the next few years, you are going to see a lot of big mainstream studios pushing out anime. Netflix is going to be out here doing anime. Amazon's going to be out here doing anime. HBO's going to be out here doing anime. They're probably already doing a lot of anime. They're going to do more. It's a different time. You know, for like when I was a kid and Ash was on his journeys and the Pokemon cartoon was running, you know, you got to deal with networks. You got to go to the television, you know, you've got to, oh my God, we're going to air 2 different animated shows called Pokemon something at the same time. That's never going to work. That doesn't make any sense. How are we going to do that? Not a concern anymore. Absolutely not a concern at all. Manga adaptations all over the place. Very easy. The material is already there. I think when people hear about this, one of the first things I always hear is like, it's too dark. It's too dark. And to be completely honest with you all, I find that opinion comes from people who have maybe only interacted with the manga via viral social media posts and Wikipedia. I wonder if they've actually read it, because the fact of the matter is there is literally nothing in there that is like it's either completely inoffensive or extremely easy to work around in an adaptation. And I wonder if people's sense of what is dark maybe just needs to be adjusted. If anything, I think if you watch any Pokemon, turn on your Netflix, go watch some Pokemon Horizons, and think about who that show is being aimed at, the age group, who that show is being aimed at. Don't you think that maybe there's an opportunity for an animated Pokemon product to target different people in different groups? Don't you think you kind of already see that with how the Pokemon Company is investing in partnerships with other studios to create extended Pokemon media? Don't you think you already see that with the partnership with the studio behind Wallace and Gromit on their new show? Don't you think you already see that with Pokemon Concierge? We're going in different directions with animated products in a way that you couldn't do 10, 15, 20 years ago? Why not? Especially with the 30th anniversary quickly approaching, invest in something that can very strongly hit on some nostalgia and target the exact same people who are now interested in this kind of content. Slam dunk. Easy. Easy. Listen, I understand that it's very easy to be in the comments right now or in the chat and tell me why this won't happen, because the truth of the matter is every single prediction that somebody is going to make, the easier position to have is to say, well, they won't do that because they've never done that before. I understand that is like the easy position to make, to be in, right? It's like, oh, well, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube, so that's what you know what I mean? Like, I get that. This is not new information to me. I know that information. What I am trying to do, and I think what the kind of like the heart of a prediction is trying to read the landscape, the entertainment landscape, and say what you think could happen before anybody else sees it coming. That's kind of the heart of a prediction, you know? If I was just sitting here, like I think and I think maybe the audience has been trained to react this way, because I think this is what a lot of Pokemon content creators do, is that they don't examine context, they don't examine media industry landscapes, and instead all they do is say, well, look at the patterns. This is how Pokemon releases games. This is how Pokemon releases that they do this, and then they do this, and then they do this. So by that logic, I can tell you that the next thing that they're going to do, Pokemon Concierge Season 2. One for me. Like, I don't know. I just like, do people like really want me to sit here and do that? So that's my take. So I think that Pokemon is definitely out here fielding a lot of pitches for extended media right now. I think that we are definitely beyond Detective Pikachu 2, which I believe is probably already it's probably in production. Beyond Detective Pikachu 2, you're going to see more live action products and more animated products. I don't think that this is a prediction as much as it is a given fact. So then I think the question is, like, what form do those products take? And I think just based on looking at again, like the entertainment landscape, I just feel like this kind of thing is a slam dunk. So that's it. But I think even more than this, I don't know why I wrote anime movie. I meant show. I guess anime show is, I guess what I really wanted to say was manga show. I think more than this though, what I personally would want is I want more original stuff. You know, they did Pokemon Path to the Peak on YouTube, I thought it was so good, dude. I thought it was so good. Like, a Pokemon Pass to the Peak was about like kids playing the Pokemon trading card game. I would love to see more stuff like that. Done animated, live action, whatever, with like time to breathe and like real animated product budgets. I think that'd be really cool. Do you think the live action Netflix Pokemon show that was announced back in 2021 will happen, or has it been canned? Oh, that definitely will happen. That definitely will happen. It's just development. It's just, lock that in. Lock that in. Yeah, that's gonna be huge. They're just cooking with that one. Whoever's in charge of the little vignettes they do for their YouTube is amazing. Yeah, I never watch any of those, but they look fun. Okay, let's move on. What is next? Oh, Psyduck. What is next for Psyduck? What is next for Psyduck? Okay. I just kind of wanted to think out loud with this one, because I think an easy thing for them to do is to be like, here is the release date for, what do you call it? Pokemon Concierge Season 2 is going to launch on Netflix, right? And I think it would be, I would not even be surprised if that release date is sooner than we think. Okay, I kind of did do that. I just think that Psyduck is important, okay? Psyduck has a TV show, Concierge. Psyduck was just added to Pokemon Unite. I think that Psyduck will continue to have a large presence. I think we will no doubt see a plush Psyduck in the background at some point in this presentation. A Mega Psyduck is not out of the question. So here's the deal. I've been trying to ask myself, what will they do with Psyduck? What will they do with him? A plush on the shelf? Lock it in. Lock it in. And I think I have the answer. Okay. So, I said I wasn't going to talk about the stuff that nobody cares about, but let me tell you. The Pokemon trading card game, you know how Pocket, you know how they did the Mew, the little bonus Mew pack? Obviously, we're going to do one of those, but it's going to be Arceus, right? Obviously. That's easy. That's not an official prediction. That's too easy. I don't even want to be a part of that. Okay. But I do think a fun little promo event with cards featuring fuzzy Concierge Psyduck. Come on. Could you imagine this lady, the main character in Concierge, like she's like a trainer card? You know what I'm saying? Pop. Dude, that's good. That's good. Come on, that's good. I could see that. Them doing that, being like, oh, we're going to run a special thing when Concierge launches on Netflix, and it's going to be on Pokemon TCG Pocket, and there's going to be a little promo event. You get your little Psyduck promo cards. Get your Psyduck promo cards. You get your little, whatever her name is. I think it starts with an H, maybe. Man, it feels like it's been forever since I watched Concierge. Maybe it's time to go back. But yeah, Psyduck will be present. Haru, thank you. Psyduck will be present. Wow, I was right. It did start with an H. That's something. Okay. Psyduck will be present in this presentation on Pokemon Day. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt, chat. You and your... Yeah, it was back there. I gotta tell you, I think a part of me wanted to say Haru, and I chickened out. So, but yeah. All right. Oh, and when we see Pokemon Concierge Season 2, I think a big push of the story in the trailer is going to be Haru and Psyduck. They've like kind of figured out how to work together. They have like a nice life at the hotel. They're hanging out. Everything is cool. And then I think there's going to be like a new Pokemon character that is like gunking up their relationship that they have to learn to deal with. Okay. And is like making Psyduck be like, oh no, not Absol, definitely not Absol, not Absol. But, you know, somebody that you think would be a good, who would be a good play off of, stop it. Somebody that would be a good play off of Psyduck. What if it is Absol and they are unfairly blamed. Absol was a good pick. Psyduck finds a mate. I wish. Slowpoke. That's. I don't think it can be a Gen 1. I don't think it can be another Gen 1. I don't think they would do that. A part of me is like, I think it has to be like an electric type because it's strong against Psyduck, and I can see them doing like a little, like it shocks him and he's like, you know, so something like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think it will be somebody unexpected though. I think it will be somebody unexpected. Emolga. Emolga's pretty good. Is there an electric type that's not yellow? Zekrom. It's Zekrom. I don't know how I ignored that. All right, let's move on. Okay. The question on everyone's minds. What is the status of Mystery Dungeon? As the internet's forthwith most biggest just Mystery Dungeon scholar, I would say. So here's the deal. I think when Mystery Dungeon comes up, a lot of people, they naturally go to this place of it must be the next Mystery Dungeon game is going to be a remake of Explorers. And I gotta tell you, I don't think that makes any sense. I don't think it makes any sense to, on the Nintendo Switch platform, have two relatively similar Mystery Dungeon remakes on the shelves. You know what I mean? I think part of a lot of these big Nintendo games and a lot of these Pokemon games is that they are supposed to kind of sell in perpetuity because they all are supposed to have their own unique identity. So I don't think that you could do Explorers DX. I don't think that's in there. I don't think that's the kind of thing that they do. On the same platform, especially. I don't think that's the kind of thing that they do. So, I do think Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX, that puppy came out. And then, much later, they put on the Game Boy Advance NSO Red Rescue Team. And I do think that, like, okay, we kind of got our, we pushed out this this Mystery Dungeon product enough that it's like on the system, fully acknowledging that it's a remake of an old thing. There's the old thing. It's very self-aware in this way. I think that if there is a Mystery Dungeon game, it has to be a new one. I don't think we're doing remakes anymore. I don't think a remake of Explorers is in the cards. I think if you want to play Explorers, you're going to have to wait until Nintendo DS comes to Nintendo Switch Online, and then you'll play it that way, which it will, and Explorers will be one of the games on there. So here's the thing. The Mystery Dungeon franchise is in a really good place. Last year, there was a new entry, Spike Chunsoft, the developers of Mystery Dungeon, the person who writes every Mystery Dungeon game, like directs most of it, like they put out a Sheeran the Wanderer game, which is what Mystery Dungeon is. How would you define that? Like a spin-off of, like, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is a Pokemon version of Sheeran the Wanderer. They put out a Sheeran the Wanderer game last year, and it was extremely successful. It was wildly successful. It was the fastest selling title in the franchise. And if you read interviews with the team, they are incredibly happy with how successful it was. And they found it very, like, affirming. They found it, like, very affirming in terms of the, like, development of games in that genre, I think. So I think they're making this big Mystery Dungeon game that goes on to sell really well. I think that, while that was going on, who knows, they were maybe like, you know, you make a little money working for the Pokemon company when you say, you're gonna go fund this game and we're gonna go make Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. That'll help us develop this, Sheeran the Wanderer game. I don't know. I think that that team is in a really good place. And I don't think that their move for expanding that brand even further, for growing Sheeran the Wanderer, I don't think that their move is, let's just make another Sheeran the Wanderer, okay? Part of the ethos of Shiren the Wanderer, the game that they just put out, The Mystery of Serpent Coil Island, was that they wanted it to be a game that retained its value and that you could play for a really, really long time. So it doesn't make sense for them to turn around and go say, we're going to go work on another sequel to that game. So what are those people working on? What are they going to do in the meantime? How do you grow that brand? I think the answer is now is when you do a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon title. And I think that it has to look a little different. I think that there has to be something kind of bold and blatant about the new Mystery Dungeon title that is there to maybe entice people that have ignored the franchise in the past. Because I think that right now they're kind of sitting pretty, and now is the time to see if we can grow Mystery Dungeon into something bigger. I will say though, based on what I know about the development of these games and how much they cost to make, and the size of that team, it does appear that these games are pretty successful, Mystery Dungeon DX included. For the amount of copies that they sell, I think that they see a pretty big return on that investment. So I don't think it's in like a bad place. I think that the franchise is actually in a really good place. I would also be willing to say that if one does not get announced this year, I think it's almost guaranteed next year. That's how confident I am in this. What is the significance of the letters you capitalized in mystery? I wish there was something. In the post-Hades world we live in, people are living for these roguelike lights. Yeah, I gotta tell you, there's a chance. There is a non-zero chance that there's like an action element in a game like this. It's tough, right? It's tough because it just depends on what they want. There's a non-zero chance. I don't particularly think that's the direction that they will go in, but I do think that there is a non-zero chance. And I think that would be very cool. Okay. What's next? What was my next slide? Oh. The other game. All right. This is the take that I'm gonna get the most garbage for. All right. This is the one that everybody's gonna make fun of me for. This is the one that I'm gonna look like a big dum-dum at the end of this. Okay. So here's the deal. I've been thinking about BDSP. I've been thinking about Pokemon Legends Arceus, recently replayed, beginning to end, Legends Arceus. And I think something that people neglect about Legends Arceus is that it is much more of a remake of Diamond and Pearl than people give it credit for. Everybody looks at BDSP and says, this is the Gen 4 remake. And I think now what I have done is I have trained myself into going, oh, Legends Arceus is the Gen 4 remake. It just went in a bold, different direction. And BDSP was actually a new thing that they had not done before. The idea of this faithful remake, that was actually the new thing. It looks like Legends Arceus is the new thing, but actually the new thing is BDSP. And I think that there are a lot of hints to that, you know? And I think you can kind of start and end that conversation by seeing which one was developed by Game Freak, but it doesn't matter. But anyways, the reason that I set this up this way is because I think that people look at BDSP and they look at like Ilka or Pokemon Works, whatever it is. And I think that they look at them and they say, the only thing that they can do are faithful remakes. That is it. That's all we're giving them. And I think people need to expand their minds a little bit. All right. They were trying something out. So here's the deal. We know that Pokemon games are very likely planned far in advance. They know what the next one's going to be while they're working on one, right? We know this. The turnaround on the games, the turnaround on the development time, it is simply too fast. They have some idea of what is coming next down the pipeline. And I've been thinking about the team previously known as Ilka. Who knows what they will be known as in the future. But those human beings that worked with Game Freak, the Pokemon Company, whatever. I don't think that they put out BDSP and then just went back to whatever they were doing before. There's really no evidence of that. And I also don't think that they put out BDSP and all of those people, I don't know, were suddenly like, we're part of the Scarlet and Violet dev team now. Probably helped. I would hope so. I would hope that there was some assistance there. But I kind of tend to think that the Scarlet and Violet development environment was I kind of think that the Scarlet and Violet development environment was probably so different from what they were doing with BDSP that they probably couldn't immediately jump on Scarlet and Violet, right? So, all right. So I'm already seeing in the chat people saying that they made other games for Nintendo. Like what? Like what? What other game? I'll wait. One Piece Odyssey was their big one. Princess Peach? They didn't make Princess Peach. Princess Peach was developed by Goodfeel, I believe. Yeah, the people that made like the Yoshi games. Sandland. Okay, so what's happening now is that people, I believe, are Googling Ilka games, and now they're telling me what they found on Google. Okay, so those games that you're talking about. So those games that you're talking about. Are those so whoever started this conversation said that they made other games for Nintendo. So can we all agree now that that's not true? There are no other Nintendo games that Ilka is on, as far as we know. Can we agree that that's not true? Okay. I think so. I think we can agree on that. Yeah, their Nintendo game is just Pokemon stuff. Okay. So now that we know that that's not true, I think what we need to acknowledge is that when you look at a game like One Piece Odyssey, when you look at a game like Sandland, when you look at other stuff Ilka is working on, and you dig into the credits, and then you dig into the credits of BDSP, is it all the exact same people? Are they different people? Are they doing some work with Bandai Namco, or maybe some Bandai Namco people are over here and they're working on this stuff too? Listen, I think that with a company like Ilka, who works on a lot of games, I think even outside of, I think Sandland is Ilka plus Bandai, sure. I think even outside of the ones you're listing, I imagine if you were to go to like, not Wikipedia, don't go to Wikipedia. If you were to go to like Ilka's website, okay, and you were to see like what games that they supported on and did random little work for, I imagine that list would be very large. But what I am talking about, okay, is I am talking about the specific employees and the specific group at Ilka, whatever you want to call it, that ended up having a relationship with Game Freak and the Pokemon Company and working on BDSP. Those are the people that I'm interested in and concerned with right now. And I think it stands to reason, particularly since there was a thing called Pokemon Works that we all know exists, yet we don't really know anything about. I think it stands to reason that maybe whatever that relationship was, whoever those people are, that has been formalized. Okay? And if that is the case, And I think we can agree that that is the case, because I think it would be weird. I think it would be weird, chat, if they said, we're gonna have these people make BDSP for us and never talk to them again. I think that that would be weird. I think that would be a poor use of resources and time and energy and all sorts of stuff. I think that that would be weird. So if we assume that that is the case and that there is another game coming from that, whatever that group of people is that we're identifying as, okay? Or at least they're doing the brunt of the work. If we agree, if we acknowledge that, then that, okay, let's give that the check. Okay, great. And now we bring in our other knowledge, which tells us that Pokemon games typically get how many years in development? How many years? Do we know this piece of trivia? How many years does a Pokemon game typically get to cook? Okay? I think we knew this before the Terra League. 3 to 4, that's right. I think 4 is even pushing it, but I think the number is typically 3. So, okay. So I think you see where I'm going with this. BDSP releases in the fall. 4 is pushing, yeah. I think, so BDSP releases in the fall of 2021, the holiday season of 2021. By the time that game comes out, who knows what state that team is in. But how long does it take that group of people, or the group of people that they're now working with, when they're done on that game? What do they move on to next? Do they immediately, are they doing stuff on Scarlet and Violet? Are they doing stuff on Legends ZA? On Nintendo's website, Ilka is credited with planning and story on Scarlet and Violet. That's great. That's great. I don't think that you can take that. I don't think that that negates anything that I'm saying, right? Because I think, again, when you have a company like this that supports a bunch of games and a bunch of different studios, that's awesome. They're credited with planning and story. What about all of the people that were doing the programming on BDSP? Where did they go? What about the people that were, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at the models, or not the models, the credits on BDSP, there's a lot of people no, I think it supports what you're saying. Great. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that doesn't account for. So, do we think, here's the key question. Do we think that Ilka or Pokemon Works is now just support for everything that Game Freak does? Or do we think that they'll have their own game? Or that there'll be a game that they are more or less doing the brunt of the work for? That is the question, right? Because the thing that they would have gotten pushed to move on would have been Legends ZA, I think. Because that would have been, Scarlet and Violet comes out in like less than 10 months. They're just polishing at that point. So I think people agree with me that there's probably another game. And both, right. I agree. See, I think that's what's going on here. I think it's both as well. Because I think everybody that works with Game Freak or on Game Freak stuff, I think the idea is that you all have to be on the same page and trained so that you can work in whatever that weird development environment is. Because it's hard. They can't hire contractors, okay? Like, Game Freak is they, who knows what their stupid, how hard it is to work in their stupid Pokemon engine. And it takes 6 months to teach a contractor how to work in that engine. So they can't do it. They're like, oh, just add employees. We can't. So, okay. The mission statement on their site is, our goal is to provide a rich experience that spreads the world of Pokemon to everyone's hearts, regardless of generation, country, or region. As a team focused only on Pokemon, we're a group of Pokemon-loving friends who hone their skills and creativity to develop not only games, but also services like Pokemon Home. See, that's good. So, right. So I think we're holding on to those dudes, and I think they're working on a game. But if you look at the timeline, that game would probably have to come out this fall. Legends ZA is coming out this year. We know that. I think it's a safe bet, based on the timelines, the things that we've already talked about, that Generation 10 is coming out next year. Do you think it makes any sense for Generation 10? Maybe they talk about it Pokemon Day 2026. Do you think it makes any sense for the Pokemon Company to launch another Pokemon game while advertising Generation 10 next year? No, obviously not. Obviously not. Obviously, they will spend the year advertising, especially another RPG. No way. They will spend the year advertising Generation 10. It will come out in the fall of next year. There will not be another Pokemon game from February 20th, an RPG from February 27th to Generation 10 coming out. Maybe, I don't think that they'll do this, but maybe they throw like red and blue out there on the eShop. You know what I mean? Maybe. But yeah, there won't be like a new product to sell, I don't think. So that means that the window for this game is between that time, February 27th next year, and Legends ZA coming out. Okay? Jake has me spending my time cross-analyzing Ilka credits. I gotta tell you, that's more fun than you think it is. I did this with Mystery Dungeon recently. I would like take the writer and I'd be like, okay, where are you? What have you been doing? And then I would take like the head programmer and I go, okay, what have you been doing? And then, yeah, it's kind of fun. But yeah, they're like, the Pokemon Company is not going to try to sell a $60 product between, you know, in that way, in that time frame. So, okay. So now stay with me on this because I think this part's important, okay? Let's say that this supposed game from this supposed BDSP adjacent group doesn't come out this year. And I'm telling you, it can't come out next year. So what about the year after? Can it come out then? Yes, it can. But if it does, that game did not start development. That game did not start development until after Scarlet and Violet came out, okay? So all of these rumors that people have heard for the last however many years of the Gen 5 games coming to Switch, if that game does not come out this year, it never existed and all those rumors were bogus. Period. Because it simply, that game was not in development. So I think that this makes sense if you follow the timeline that I have laid out. So let's get to my chart here. What is the other game? I've talked about this before. I believe Pokemon Black and White do not have in their possession strong brand power. I believe this. I do not believe that Pokemon from that generation are the Pokemon that are typically pushed in the merch, pushed by the brand. I think that that region and those Pokemon are typically looked over. The Pikachus, Mewtwo's, Charizards, Lucarios of the world, the Arceuses, even, if you will. I do not believe that Gen 5 really has those. So I believe that we have to do something. We cannot have a faithful remake of Pokemon Black and White, because not only does that not help, I don't think that is a promising value proposition in the eyes of the Pokemon Company or Game Freak. I think it does not help their brand. I think that they would look at that and say, what? So we can push Chandelure? No, absolutely not. It's not it. So it has to be something else. How do we make it more interesting? How do we sell it? How do we make it more exciting? I think that this is the answer. I hate that I'm saying this, but I do think that this is the answer. So, okay. Unova, as a concept, has been introduced to the Nintendo Switch player. We have already introduced it to them. We have brought it up to them through the Blueberry Academy DLC. What else have we done? We have introduced Pokemon that are the same, but different. Guys, we are 10 minutes out from the Sony State of Play, by the way, so I have to wrap this up. We have already introduced the concept of Pokemon that are the same, but different paradox Pokemon, convergent Pokemon, a thing you thought you knew, but it's for some reason it's changed. I think we can apply this to the region. I think we can apply this to the gym leaders. I think we can apply this to everything you think you already know. Exhibit B. The idea of fusion has already been introduced in Unova. We have the concept of fusion. The seed has been planted already. We have paradox Pokemon dying to be recontextualized and reused. We have these elements already. The Dream World, a Pokemon Black and White Gen 5 concept. Dreams. Wow, is it possible that we could recontextualize terrestrialization? Is it possible that we could recontextualize paradox Pokemon as something indeed related to dreams? Is there a chance that all of these ideas that you see before you could be tied back to dreams in some way, shape, or form, including terrestrialization? There were even in one of these Gen 5 games, there were even like little, I don't remember what they were officially called, but they were like these little dens you could go in, and there would be like a Pokemon. It would just be like a little room, and there could be like a little Pokemon there. There could be a little Terra Pokemon. Yeah, I think that this makes sense. I think that this is how you properly pack Hidden Grotto. Nice. I think that this is how you properly package these games. You know, I think this is how you. I think this is how you make Gen 5 a more valuable thing to sell people that is interesting. You know, maybe you have a bunch of players that say, I skipped Pokemon Black and White. I don't care about Pokemon Black and White. Who are these things? I don't know who they are. And then they get a little taste of Johto. And they go, wait a second. What? You're telling me that my starter Pokemon is a Cyndaquil fused with a Tepig? Tell me more. You're telling me that I can pick a Chick or Snivy? Tell me more. Chat, what if Entei? What if Gorging Flame, whatever this thing is? What if this was never a Paradox Entei? What if it was an Entei fused with a Ho-Oh? I think I just accidentally duplicated the slide, so this is nothing. Thank you everybody for watching. Those are my Pokemon Day 2025 predictions. I put a medium amount of work into them, so I hope you enjoyed it. That's it.